Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. This is the first episode of my YouTube series where I feature everyday superheroes. Here in this episode, we're going to talk about different kinds of love and how love for yourself plays a big role with how you interact with others around you and your past, present, and future relationships. Many do not realize this, and I know it took me most of my life to understand this concept. I wanted to start off this section with a raw reaction recording I made for one of my clients right after I read a long email from him early this year. And he was telling me about his life story and the story of his lost love, which he was struggling with at the time he approached me. I asked him if I could share his story with others, and he agreed to it. I actually felt honored. At the time we met on Instagram, he was 19 years old, a freshman in college, and started asking me some questions about healing crystals and spirit guides. After talking for a few weeks, he wanted me to mentor him for a month. I ended up getting to know him pretty well, and he started sharing with me some very private details that he said no one knows this information, only his parents and close friends. His name is Peyton, and some of his details to his story will be changed to protect his identity. He's definitely a wonderful kid and has so much potential, and I look forward to hearing how his life will turn out later, because the last update I got from him, he was doing wonderful and so much was opening up for him. Here is his story, just in summary. He shared with me the love story of his high school sweethearts. They met in band freshman year and dated all throughout high school until senior year. They were known as the perfect high school couple, but he chose to break up with her after he went on a band trip to an international competition and had a little fling with an older girl. Boys. Even he said that. He's like, me being the boy that I was and immature. He regretted his decision when he came back and was not able to maintain anything with the fling. This threw off his life and put him in a deep depression. He then went back to his first love, which is music, and got more involved with assisting to teach band to middle school students. He then met Maddie, a beautiful blue-eyed 13-year-old. He calls her his angel. The summer before he started college, they spent every day together and fell in love. After he turned 18, he got into some circumstances that got him into trouble with the police and got felony charges on his record. This was very traumatic for him because he never got involved with illegal drugs, or he was always a good student and a good bandy kid. He just got involved with the wrong crowd and was at the wrong place at the wrong time. When the mother of the 13-year-old that he was dating found out that her daughter was dating an 18-year-old and she was a minor, and then that they were secretly dating behind her back and that he got a felony charge, she pressed charges against him and had a restraining order put on him and her family and even his high school until the daughter is 18. Here is an excerpt from my student's story, and it will give you a little more detail to what happened. My girlfriend Maddie told me how her mom was wanting to charge me with anything and everything she could, from contributing to the delinquency of a minor to sexual assault. When she told me those things, the thoughts of suicide that was already there magnified drastically. I began to cry uncontrollably again. Maddie told me she was going to do everything she can to convince her mom to leave me be, that I'm a good guy, that I never hurt her. I would do everything for her, and she would return the favor. Maddie told me, I am so sorry that this happened to you. It is all my fault. I will make it up to you one day. I promise, Peyton. I'm going to get a good job one day. I'll pay you back all the money that is costing you. Just please don't hurt yourself. You mean everything to me. I don't know how I could live without you, knowing that I was the reason you took your own life. Peyton, I love you. Please hang in there. I'm just as hurt and upset as you are. So I held on for her. A couple weeks go by, and I get paperwork from the sheriff's department for a restraining order against me from Maddie's mom. I couldn't be 300 yards from her or the high school. My very own high school that I graduated from, that I still had friends in the band, that one of my closest friends will be graduating this May, and I can't even be there for him. A few days after that, I went to court to discuss the restraining order with a judge, and Maddie and her parents. Her mom has so much hatred in her heart towards me. I found out later that she even went to my college to try to take away all of my band scholarships. She was really trying to ruin my life. In the courtroom, she looked at me just once, not even for 10 seconds. Within the whole 2 hours, her dad was very quiet and calm. I couldn't sense any emotion from him. I almost got the impression that he didn't want to be there in the first place. Come to find out, during that time in the courtroom, her mom did charge me with a single charge, which was contributing to the delinquency of a minor. It was just a fine I had to pay. Maddie convinced her parents to deal the least amount of hurt they could towards me. She saved my life, and that was the last day I heard from Maddie. I went through my 3rd semester of college after that summer, and I passed with 3.6 GPA. What hurt me for the longest was the fact that it will be years until I see her beautiful face again, until I feel her heartbeat against mine again, hear her voice captivate my soul, and that I can't go to my own high school to help teach. I discovered that my calling in this life is to love, teach, and inspire through the power of music, and I can't get my feet wet and begin to practice teaching at my alumni school. It wasn't until Thanksgiving week of 2016 when my life changed. I experienced with some friends some psychedelics and experienced an ego death. It was the perfect day, perfect temperature, perfect sunshine, just bliss. I had the most amazing experience of my life that day, and I thought it couldn't get any better. Then I began to see the patterns and colors in my mind. My third eye began to open. I went inside and locked myself in a dark, quiet room by myself, sat on the floor, and began to meditate and focus on my third eye. It was almost immediately that everything began to intensify when I did that. The experience of my ego death was the most beautiful and excited feeling I had ever experienced. It allowed me to remember the answers to the universe, the unknown knowledge of anything and everything. I was able to view myself from my friend's point of view and from a third person's standpoint. I became fully aware of my true higher self. I was only observing and viewing everyone and everything around me for exactly what it is in that present moment after that. I can truly say that psychedelics changed my life forever. I don't know who or what kind of person I would be today if everything had happened to me didn't happen to me. I love life from the bottom of my heart. I love everyone, every animal, and every plant and tree and insect. I have learned that everything, no matter how depressing or harsh it might be, happens for a reason. You just have to let it be. Live in the present moment, and your future will align for you the way it is supposed to. I know Maddie still thinks of me because I still think of her each and every day of my life. I know we will cross paths again one day, and if you love something, set it free. It'll come back if it was meant to be. The reaction that I had to your story was very profound because it reminded me really of my story. It's not the same, but then the same in some respects. Like you said, you're like, my story is exactly the same like yours, and the elements of your story are very different, like the psychedelic. I haven't ever done those kind of things, but the emotions and the rawness that you shared, it really was inspiring for me actually to, assist me when I tell my story to other people, to be more raw, to show more emotion. That's what people want, like to show that we all are human and we're all connected and we're all not really that different, no matter if you're male, if you're female, if you're raised in the other side of the world or in the US. I've talked to many people. I have family all over the world that are around my age, maybe a little older or less, but we all pretty much go through the same experiences, just with different details. And it's very fascinating to me how many people's stories are just very parallel, but just some details are different. Oh my God, after I started reading your story, I was just sitting there in my bed, like bawling my eyes out. I was crying and weeping. And I think like you sharing your story reminded me of like what I've been through. And like the last decade, I went through a lot, and I think like I just had to keep going on with my life, and it might not be like to the level of like what you went through, or like a person who went through all these, grew up in the ghetto and like every night was like fighting for their survival. Like my life wasn't like that, but to me it felt like that. Like in my head, I was constantly going through a battle in my head, like I shared with you, of just low self-esteem, hating myself. I grew up hating myself, and I'm kind of getting emotional, but possibly this is meant to help heal me and also to help heal you. And maybe some areas that you struggle with, because I think you struggle with that your whole life as well, of depression, anxiety, things like that. That was my whole life too. Tell me, buddy. Oh my God. College was a nightmare for me because I was constantly stressed out. Oh, like I don't even want to go back to my college years. Like life after college is so amazing. It's very difficult, but life is so different. Like in high school and college, like things that you think it might be so challenging, like you're a senior and then you like a freshman, like that is like unheard of. It's a big controversy in high school, right? Or college, right? Like if you like someone in high school, like your situation, and you're in college, it's like it seems like the end of the world. I don't want to discredit what you're going through, but when you're older, when you're outside of college and you're in the real world, things like that don't matter. Age doesn't, well, I shouldn't say age doesn't matter, but it's less of a problem like it is if you're in school. I'm not sure why that is meant to be a really big problem in like high school and college. It's a big, it's an interesting phenomenon when I look back at how high school and college was and all of that stuff. You reminded me of that. And when you're out in the real world, that is not that much of a difference. Like I know many people who there's a big age gap. People who are 10 years apart, who are married, who've been married for a long time now and been together for so long. I see it more commonly. People wait a long time, like 7, 8 years, or even 10 years. I know a few people who waited 10 years. They were dating and together, and they waited that long to get married. And like in my situation, me and my fiance, we waited like, we're at the end of this month, actually, we're going to be celebrating our 8th year anniversary. So, I don't know, I think times are changing with how relationships need to go and things like that. So, or like age differences. And I see it a lot. Like there's a lot of women who marry younger men and things like that. So it seems like it's not that much of a big difference. But of course, it is a difference if is a minor involved. But once you pass that range, it's not a big deal. So I am really hopeful for you regarding your situation. I know it's really difficult. Like I can't imagine um, how it feels, but I think I felt it somewhat at the end of reading your story. I'll get back to my point. I kind of trailed off, but I hope it will help understand my point more. What you did for me, you gave me a big gift because you helped me remember what I have and how blessed I am, and to not take for granted what I have. Hopefully, it will help me to remember to help other people to do the same, to not take for granted what you have, to be thankful every day for all the blessings we have, and the food we get to eat, and the love in our lives, and how we are cared for. And I know a lot of times like it could feel like it's the end of the world because something is not going right in our lives, but if we compare ourselves to maybe someone else, like I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, the experience I was having last night. Like I was just thinking about like there's people I know in my life who they have been married for, I would say, probably 60 years, or they were close to it, but then their significant other, for they were married for that long, they passed away and they have to live life alone now. Like I was thinking about that. It was so, I don't know, it was a huge perspective shift for me. And it was a perfect timing for me to kind of like list all my blessings and be so thankful for that I'm still alive, that I'm here to spread my message, to spread the light within me, and to hopefully share my story to people who need to hear it so they can be inspired and they can do the same and go out in the world and make a difference. I think, I don't know, it just really opened my eyes on a deeper level, I think, to just appreciate things more. And I hope that sheds some light on your situation. I haven't went through what you've been through, but it's definitely interesting, and I really feel that everything happens for a reason, and I feel hopeful for your situation. And like you said, you know deep inside your heart that you will see Madison again, and you will be able to continue what you had with her. And your relationship is beautiful. It's so pure. Me reading your story, I'm just like, oh, it was kind of like taking me back on memory lane, like to reminisce of those beginning years of being together in a relationship and learning one another and exploring what you have and that passion and that raw emotion. And once you are in a longer relationship, those feelings mature and your relationship matures and you mature together. And that's, to me, that's pretty much like the secret sauce, the secret recipe for having a successful relationship, leading to a successful marriage and a long-term marriage. I think that's what a lot of people are seeking, but it's really difficult with society, and you see it all the time in media. A lot of these influences of showing that divorce is it's just like more accepted, it's more common. You see that all the time, people living in single family homes, or like kids struggling with divorce, like trying to learn how to live with a step parent or multiple step parents, or I don't know. It's a crazy world now, and I don't know, I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in a strong Catholic faith, which I'm thankful for, but nowadays I'm realizing more that religion separates people, and there's a difference between religion and spirituality. And I am just accepting of all religions. I'm accepting of all beliefs. Everybody has the free will to believe what they want to believe and not have to feel restricted that, oh, my religion says I can't do this, or I can't show my hair, or I like have to be behind men, like I can't be my own independent person, or I like gay people are bad and all this stuff. Like I really don't vibe with that. I'm accepting of all people. I love all people. I hope I don't like judge people. I don't know. I see everyone for who they are, for the beautiful souls that they are, and color has never really fazed me. It really didn't. It didn't really like affect me, and I think a lot of ways that society has kind of taught people how to be discriminatory or racist or things like that. Really, in my situation, I had the opposite effect. I think like I hated being different. I'm Asian, and I grew up in a very dominant white community, my whole upbringing, and it was really hard for me to accept, like, why am I different? Like, why am I like this? And I hated myself. I hated not being blonde. I hated not being blue-eyed. And I had like tan skin and black hair. But growing up, I started to learn to accept myself for who I am. And actually, in reality, learning more the last couple of years, this is not who I am. This body that my spirit is in is not who I am. I am an infinite being. I have lived many lives as like very powerful, like powerful, like women figures. I have been a powerful shamaness, and I've been queens of many countries and empires, and it's incredible. Like, it's so empowering to really know who you are as a soul, as an infinite being. And just that feeling of like knowing who you are and loving who you are really opens up the doors for so many things. And I think you are understanding that now, that loving who you are as a person, and really just, it really opens up a new way of living, of like loving every living being, like seeing the beauty within you sees the beauty in everything else. You're able to see the beauty in everything else, right? Like in every plant, every tree, every rock, every cloud, every raindrop, every flower, every human being. And that feeling of being connected with everything, and knowing that we are all one, that we are all connected, really just puts a whole different perspective on life, doesn't it? So that feeling, and I think that you understand that feeling more now after that ego death, knowing that feeling is just so incredible. And I want to help people feel that too, and know what that is, and just know who they are, right? And when you know who you are, you know everything else, because we're all the same. We're all one. And it's so beautiful, like living that way and understanding that concept. So, um, going back to the topic of love, I guess. Um, Let me see. I just felt guided to say all of those things to you. I hope it helped. um, Regarding your situation, I really know you're gonna be okay. I really have this deep knowing that you will be fine, that you are on the right path, that, like I said before, everything happens for a reason. And I've come to find that a lot of people have been coming to me regarding relationships and wondering, like, when am I going to meet my soulmate? When am I going to find true love? And all this stuff. And what the answer I just gave to you is the answer I feel like all the time, like my spirit guides and other people's spirit guides guide me to tell them, to give them this message, that it really depends on us first. You're aware of it, that we choose the life that we come into before we come here on this earth. And we decide like what we want to go through, who we want to like be birthed to, like who our parents are. We decide who are the people that we want to connect with for a certain reason, for us to grow as a soul. So the path that we all chose to experience, to develop our souls in a certain way because we are infinite, is the path that we chose. So from what I am sensing and what you have told me, I think that's exactly what your soul wanted to do. I think, if this makes sense, I hope it does, from what I see, is you she medicine okay, I'm asking my spirit guides, and I'm connecting with your higher self right now, of Peyton Jacob Steffens, and I'm asking my spirit guides if they can provide me the most accurate message at this time to give to you. This is kind of a little prayer that I say before I do a channeling, so I feel a channeling coming on. um, so, and I ask my spirit guides if they can help guide me to the right guides of yours. And I only connect with the people who are of love and light. And I ask with Peyton's permission, which I think you gave me already, to connect with you, because Peyton would love to get to know you as well. So I feel in his heart he wants some guidance in the relationship aspect. So please give me the correct message to pass on to him. So, from my understanding, you chose this path of connecting with Madison, and she is your angel. She did come to help save you, and I really do feel that you are soulmates, that you have been together for other lifetimes and will continue to do so. I cannot see at this moment if you will continue in this lifetime or not, because it is your free will. But at the same time, you were both meant to cross paths for a reason, to grow together, to show each other what love really is, and to help each other's spirits grow. She, you did ask her before you came into this lifetime to have her spark the life within you again, and to change, to pretty much jumpstart your engine, to bring life back to you and that flame within you, and to bring a new perspective on life for you. And that was her purpose in your life at that time. You both chose that you had to be separate for a while to grow spiritually, and in your own ways. And again, you will be reunited. Our spirit guides are not really good with time because they live in a dimension where time is measured differently, and in actuality, time does not exist. In reality, past, present, and future happen all right now. It's all happening right now. It's just what we choose to focus our attention on, or our consciousness on. The souls that have developed very, very well, as you can say, have been through many lifetimes and things like that, excuse me, are dimensional beings, multi-dimensional beings. So we are living multiple lives at this very moment in different dimensions, in different planets, in different parallel universes. So to connect with your Akashic records, and to let you know what Akashic records are if you're not familiar, is everybody in their energy field holds their Akashic records with them. Just like kind of if you go to the hospital, everyone has a medical record. It's like a binder of all your information, of all your past surgeries and your history, any allergies, things like that. Everybody's carrying that with them too, in their aura. And there is a main library. It's an infinite library of information of anything that has ever happened in the history of the universe. It's all stored in this library. So I'm able to tap into that information if I have permission. Your spirit guides would like to send you some of that information, and they would like to help you understand more your history. So from me reading some of your Akashic records, I do see that you are currently living a parallel life with Madison's spirit. And then actually, in another life, I see one of you, if it is Madison, that she is she is a mother figure to you. I don't know if she is your mother or an aunt or something of some sort. So I think that's why she does seem like an old soul as she is. And she did come to help guide you in this life. And that could explain too why you have like this deep love for her and like it's so comfortable. In other dimensions, I guess to explain more too, so you can understand the laws of like love and relationships and the hierarchy of like how families work is very different to what we understand here on Earth. If you understand that a little bit, let me know in the email. And if you don't, I can go into that more in depth at another time. So there's like different contracts that go on in other dimensions where, you could be, married to one soul, and then you could also be married to another soul as well. But in different dimensions, you're together, and but there's like rules that everybody agrees to that you can't, that there's still not, there's certain barriers you can't cross too. So it's really interesting. But you do have a soul contract with Madison that you have a very deep relationship that has gone around for many lifetimes and things of that nature. So that's why you feel that deep connection with her. So I think at this time, that's what your spirit guides are wanting me to let you know, that you have that deep connection with her, no doubt about it. You know your intuition, you're following your heart, and that's exactly what you know. But they can't really say at this moment whether you will be again with her in this lifetime or not. Because like I said, with time, it's very different. They measure time completely different than we do. That concept I'm still trying to learn and understand. But from what I know, they're just not good with saying time. Like they never give me a time frame of anything, but they do tell me, this can happen, this will happen. It really depends on us because we choose where we want to go with our lives. So I think that is enough for now for that. I would love to hear what you think about that channeling. I'm going to do another channeling too, a separate one, regarding your spirit guides and like introducing you to a few, and I want to put that in a separate one because this one was more focused on kind of like loving like yourself, loving relationships and things of that nature. So to leave you with this message, I think you just got to keep continuing to do what your heart is guiding you to. It seems like you're on a perfect path right now. You are starting to learn about your abilities, seeing the world differently, and I think just enjoy it. It's amazing the things that happen, the synchronicities when you are vibrating at a high level, a high frequency, and you're seeing all these beautiful things and seeing the world for the first time in a completely different way. It's truly incredible. And I think just enjoy it. That's why we're here. We're here to live this kind of life and experience it and, use all of our senses, because in other dimensions, when we're just in our spirit form, we don't have the ability to taste. Like in other dimensions, like I connect with deities and things like that nature, and other entities. They tell me, they don't sleep, they don't eat. So we're fortunate to be able to do that here on Earth. We're able to understand like what pleasure is with food and like touching things and smelling things and all of those beautiful things. That's why a lot of spiritual beings like to come down to earth. So it's quite fascinating, really, like what's out there. There's so much to learn that, that we don't see with our physical eyes, but once you start tapping into your third eye and seeing all the other things that are out there, it's truly incredible. And it's so beautiful, and I really look forward to guiding you to utilize your abilities and open up your channel more, because you have the abilities of, I think, definitely seeing into the future, tapping into higher consciousness and the collective consciousness, and starting to understand like what the world really is like and what is out there. And it's a beautiful journey. I keep finding, that it's an infinite journey of learning and understanding and grasping what's really out there. And what I was told by my spirit guides was that you will learn everything you need to learn at the certain moment in time when you need to learn it. I'm one of those people that loves to research and to know everything. And I was getting obsessed with all of this, not like all of this new stuff that was coming to me, and I was researching it. But then my spirit guides were just like, slow down. Like, we helped you open up this stuff, and you were meant to like download all this stuff and learn about all this stuff at this certain time. And then at one time I was just like, it just stopped. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I want more. And then I tapped in with my spirit guides again, and I'm like, I want more. Like, what happened? Like, did something go wrong? Like, did I do something? And they're like, no. You learned what you needed to learn to catch up, to remember everything that you needed to remember. And in time, you will get the information that you need to for a certain situation to move on at this point, in this point. And I thought that was really helpful. So I hope that helps you with the fact of like, just be present in the now moment. I need to keep reminding myself about that. And be appreciative of what we do learn. Look at the world like through eyes of like a child. Keep learning, keep exploring, be open at the same time, just enjoy it. Like, you don't get so lost in like the future. Don't get lost so much in the past, but live in the present. And, being where I am right now in my life, I am learning. When I look back, I'm like, you know what? I wish I enjoyed that moment more, instead of like wishing it would like end, or wishing that the future will come and this will happen and this will happen. And I didn't really live in the moment so much. And so a couple of things that I shared with you today, like, I think that you sparked some stuff in me, telling me your story through the perspective of, a college student, or like in high school. And, I look back and I'm like, you know what? I wish I enjoyed my high school years more. I wish I did enjoy like college more and was not so afraid. And I went out more and explored more and connected with more people. And I had a lot of experiences, that's for sure, in college, but something I want to pass on to you. I feel like I'm talking to my younger self, but I want to tell you, and I try to tell other people as well, who are younger than me, that, enjoy the now, enjoy the experience that you're living. You are where you're at in your life for a certain reason, and we all have the ability to do amazing things with what we have right now. So, like I shared with you, you are a spiritual leader. You're guiding your friends. You're guiding the people who you talk to with the information you're gaining. So just enjoy that. Like, appreciate that and appreciate those connections. And, get to know more people in college, like meet more people, like have more experiences. Do what you love. Like you said, it's your passion to teach music. So go do that. Love doing what you love to do, and enjoy being a college student. Enjoy being where you're at right now. Because don't worry about the future. It will work out how it's meant to work out. You will be fine. Um, that's something that I wish I learned sooner. um, I worried so much about everything, and when I was younger, and lately when I've been learning to just live in the now and trust the universe and trust in my higher self, knowing that, reminding myself I still need to do this every day, reminding myself that, I chose this life. I chose these experiences. I chose these people to connect with. And so I need to trust myself. I know that there's a reason for this. I know there's a lesson here. What is it? What is there for me to learn? And just trusting more. And these last couple of years in my life, applying those lessons and being more observant and just more accepting of how things are, my life has been so much easier. I've been so much more less stressed. Life has just been working out. I traveled to so many beautiful places. It's kind of, I think, what really helped me develop more spiritually. I went to Thailand a couple years ago, which was an amazing spiritual experience. I visited Stonehenge in the UK. Oh my God, that's definitely a huge energy portal. The energy there was amazing. I'm planning a trip later this year to Peru, to Machu Picchu. And I have friends who've went there and they keep telling me I need to go there. So, yeah, like I never thought I would go to these places, but I'm being guided to these places for a reason. And it just all happens to work out. And it works out in more beautiful ways than I could ever expect or I ever dreamed of. So I encourage you to just be more trusting of yourself, follow your intuition. A beautiful analogy that my spirit guides gave me on how to approach life is to view life as a roadmap and our heart or our intuition as a GPS. And when we're on a journey, for instance, like a road trip, we put a destination in the GPS. Yes, it's like, okay, I live in Michigan. I want to go to Florida. So I put my address there. I don't just put a random, I don't just say like Florida, or like I put in the GPS anywhere, because you're not going to go anywhere. You need a specific destination, right? So we set the destination and then we go on our trip. Yes. And we trust the GPS, don't we? We don't ask the GPS every time, like, okay, where are we going now? Where are we going now? Where are we going now? Oh, I don't know. The GPS is not, I don't trust the GPS, or we're not constantly doubting it, or beating it up, or like saying like, what's going on? Like, why aren't we there yet? It's like the GPS shows you, you gave it a destination, and you just go from step by step, don't you? And you stop when you need to stop. You stop at a rest stop when you need to go to the bathroom, or if you're hungry, you need to walk around. And then you stop here, and you meet some cool people over here. But you stop when you need to, like you just follow your body, right? So I think that's what we have to do. We have to trust our GPS, our intuition. It already knows where it needs to go. We put so much trust in technology more than we do ourselves. And the technology within us is so much more advanced and so much more amazing than the technology that we have right now. So if we just learn how to use it, So, so to simplify that analogy, my spirit guide said, go from just focus on the now, focus on the driving aspect, right? Excuse me, but that's all autopilot, yes? So it's something you don't really need to focus on. So just keep going and enjoy the stops. If there's a stop you gotta make, you stop there. And that's just all along on your journey, and enjoy it. And when you go to one point, and then don't you look at your GPS again, or like the olden days, they used to have a map, and they look at, okay, this is where I've been. I see where I've been, right? And then, okay, this is where we need to go now, right? So that's how we should approach life. We should approach life like that. Like, we get to one point and we're like, okay, where do we have to go now? We look at our GPS, we look at our compass or whatever, like, okay, we got to go north. So then we go that way. And then we look at the next point and we're like, okay, where do we have to go now? We have to assess. Oh, I think I went too far, so we got to go back a little bit. And then you redirect yourself. Okay, I had to actually go northwest instead of just north. So you got to tweak a little bit and go that way. So that's how we should live life. And wherever our intuition guides us, that's where we need to go. And those are the people we need to meet. And they have lessons for us. It's like a game. Like, we have to find certain points to, like, go to the next level, or to go to the next world, to unlock this next world, or to go, to unlock these abilities, and to you get a clue from this person and they're like, okay, you need to find this person to do this, like, to whatever quests or whatever you have to do. So we can look at that like the people we meet in our lives, that every person has a lesson for us, and they might have a message or something to share with us, a tidbit, a tool that could assist us to make our life easier. And sometimes certain people we meet, they're meant to be with us for a long time. They're in our car with us because maybe they have the same destination to go to too. And we're like, okay, come with us, come with me, and we can drive here together. And that could be like a long-term relationship or marriage, or maybe we pick up this one person and they were meant to give us a little tidbit in our lives, or enhance our lives in a certain way, or learn this piece of information, and then they had to go because they already fulfilled their mission and they need to help someone else. So it's kind of the same thing. I really am kind of seeing that certain people are meant to be in our lives at a certain time, while others are meant to be longer, and for all a reason. Like, it's all benefiting actually us. So I really hope that helped. It might be a lot, and I'm happy it's a recording so you can keep listening to it if you need to. And if there's any questions that you have, please let me know. Send me an email for any clarifications if you need it. I did kind of cover a lot there. So, trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. I think that's good. I think you're just on the right path. You keep listening to that intuition, to that GPS to guide you. You're going through the experiences you need to for a reason right now. And I hope that reassures you, and keep developing into the beautiful person you're meant to be. I can already see you already are, but it's amazing. Like, we're all here for a certain amount of time to develop ourselves, and to fulfill a certain mission, whether if we were meant to be those people to enlighten someone on their journey for a short period of time, or we were meant to be in the car for a long road trip, because we have the same destination. So I hope that helps. I hope that it brought some good information to you and shed some light for you on certain areas in your life. And I really hope it was helpful. That's what I'm really learning now at this point in my life, that we have to be more appreciative of what we have and be thankful for all the good things that happened in the past, every experience we have with each other, each person we connect with, and try to make the most out of every moment, because we don't know how long it will last. And try to bring light and love to every situation and every person we meet, because you never know how that will affect them or change their lives. Like how I'm sure a lot of people did that for you, like Madison, and for me too. And I give a lot of credit to all the people that helped me in my life where I am at right now. There's countless people and countless souls that I'm just learning to meet right now who have helped me when I didn't know that they were always there. So I'm excited to see what else is out there and explore more and live more. And I'm happy to help you on your journey as well. And I'm happy that we have crossed paths the way we have. And I really appreciate your authenticity, Peyton. I really appreciate your openness so much and your willingness to learn and to explore with me, because this is a journey to like each person I help, each person I do a session for, each person I provide some assistance with, like I always learn from them. I've had some experience teaching as well, in a different way than music, like how you're used to. But I think I always kind of knew I was a teacher, even though most of my life I was pretty shy and I was the listening type. But I think that all happened for a reason, because I learned a lot by listening. And now I can share all the wisdom I've gained over many years and obviously, I guess, many lifetimes. And I've learned the beauty of teaching is you learn so much more when you teach things, because you have to use different parts of your mind, and you have to learn how to understand how the person you're teaching to is learning as well, right? Because if they don't get what you're teaching, you're not doing your job, or there's something wrong there. So it's so cool, like how every person that I interact with is different, and how our energies work together. And it's so fascinating to me. I love doing that, figuring it out, like, okay, how is this going to work? It can be frustrating at times, but it's very cool. Like I love it when that person gets what you're trying to say, and you see light within them, and they're just like excited, and they're just like, oh my God, thank you for enlightening me. And it makes me feel good that I was able to help them get to that point, and to feel like inspired and have hope again, or be like, I was told a couple of times before, they're like, you changed my life, thank you. And they're like, if there's a lot of people like you in your generation, it gives me a lot of hope for the future. And I'm like, oh my God, that is pretty epic. It's very amazing. So I wanted to thank you too, Peyton, for being my teacher. You might not even know it, but you're teaching me a lot of things. And as I think about it, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And I really appreciate it that you're just so open, and you're willing to share and talk and exchange information and be open, and you're asking for my opinion. And I want to do the same, that I'm open all ears over here. So any feedback, please give it to me. Any positive feedback, any constructive criticism, any suggestions, all that stuff can really assist with helping other people that I teach, or hopefully maybe it'll open up some things for you, for your future, guide you, assist you with anything, like just by thinking about this kind of stuff. So please feel free to give me any feedback, and I would definitely appreciate it. Let's see. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, I went through a very profound experience last night reading your story, and it just helped me remember who I am. And it reminded me where I am, where I've been, where I'm going, and it really inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing. And your story inspired me, and it showed me the resilience of a person when their hearts are touched, and it showed me the power of love, and it encouraged me to keep going on my journey that I knew a decade ago I was meant to go around. Like, actually, I was in high school. I think it was my sophomore, junior year. I did a speech. I had to do a speech for my English class about a nonprofit, or like I had to do like a speech for a nonprofit, right? I think that's what it was. And I did this amazing speech, and I was the first to go, and I was scared out of my mind. But after my speech, it was all about like this children's charity and how we need to make a difference and all this stuff. And the look on everybody's face was like their mouths were open and everybody was quiet. And my teacher was like, "Oh my God, like she raised the bar pretty high, everybody." And she's like, you guys better, she raised the bar high. Like, she didn't know what else to say, my teacher. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, like I have to follow her." And at that moment, I knew I was meant to make a difference in this world. And I remember just sitting in that class, and I couldn't think of anything else but like how I did. And I was so proud of myself for being the first one to speak. And I'm happy now. It took me some time, but I had to develop myself as a person. And now I'm really going out there and really, living what I meant to do. And your story of love really inspired me to, I knew that I had to go out there and, actually 2010, I'm sorry, that wasn't me in high school. That was a moment when I was just inspired to write a book about love, and I started writing it then, and I stopped, but I think it's time for me to get back to it again. But that moment was true in high school. I can't even remember what time was that. I graduated in 2005. So that was probably 2003. Oh my God, I can't even believe that was that long ago. Oh my God. But at that moment, I knew I had to like tell people about this stuff. And I was thinking, like, yeah, you really reminded me the power of love and why I felt I need to go out there and tell people about this, and tell people first to love themselves. Like, I was seeking love. I was looking for true love and all this stuff. And I found really the problem was me, that I had to love myself first in order for someone to truly, like, be able to give that love back to me. And I'm thankful my fiance loved me more than like I loved myself at the time when I met him, and he just kept encouraging me and showing me I am worth loving. And I keep telling him it was probably the most beautiful thing that he's ever, or anyone has ever given me. The gift to love myself, like to learn how to love myself. And I want other people to know that feeling and to receive that for themselves, to learn how to love them. And thus, everything else will work out for you, and everything else will be just amazing from that point forward. And so, thank you for telling me your story again. I've probably said that a million times, but also, I just wanted to throw this at you after reading your story. I was so inspired, and I think this is a perfect addition to my book. And I was feeling this the last couple years, that I want to include stories in my book of the power of love and examples of how powerful love really is. And I have to tell my story too. And it gives me power to tell my story. And my story is really hard, that I haven't really even shared my story of, I only shared it to very few people as well. That I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my fiance, my angel. And I was reminded of that last night. So thank you so much. And it really reminded me the power of love, that it can truly save someone's life. Because at that point, before I met my fiance, I thought I had no reason to live, or I had no reason to be here. And I didn't see what I could provide to the world. But he helped me see that. And it reminded me of my favorite quote
And I knew I loved this ever since, and I didn't really understand what it meant until more now. Be the change you wish to see in the world by Mahatma Gandhi. It's placed on my wall, and I see it every morning when I wake up. But I forget to really read it and to reflect on it and to know what it really means. And thank you for letting me think about that last night when you told me your story. I really want to include that in my book, so I wonder if you would be open to letting me tell your story through my book and have that in there. It would be my honor to tell people about your story, to show people the power of love. And if you want, I can change your names to keep confidentiality. I really understand the value of that, but I would love to. But I really think you could maybe change a lot of people's lives with your story, and it can touch a lot of like young people, and they can understand what it is, and to encourage people to not to give up on that, because in this world it could be very difficult for a lot of young people, especially now, and we really need to spread this message more about love and the power of it and how it could really change someone's life. It's something else. Like I am at a loss of words right now of the power of love, and I've learned with all the other entities I've connected with, and there's so many dimensions out there. It's incredible that they're like so many light years away. They've told me over and over again that love is a universal language, that everyone seeks it and they know the power of it. And I think humans are now just understanding like the tip of the iceberg of the power of it, what it can really entail. People need to know about this more, especially I think young people, that this world, if we get so lost in it, you can get so lost. But once you see the world through the eyes of just love, everything can be transformed. And there's so much more meaning to life. So I'm excited to see, where else we can go here. And I think this is the beginning of something really great. And I really appreciate you again for wanting to go on this journey with me and to allow me to help you on your spiritual journey. It's my honor. And I thank you again. And I'm looking forward to the next session. So thank you so much. You provide a lot of healing for me to allow me to speak to you. And thank you. Thank you again, Peyton, so much. The light in me bows down to the light within you. Namaste. Blessings of love and light to you always, and to your family and loved ones. And to all your spirit guides, I thank them too for the guidance today that they gave me to help me deliver the message that I have for you today. So thank you to them. And I just think everything about you, all the aspects of you. Keep being yourself, keep shining your light, and keep giving the world everything you have. Because that's all we have. That's all we got. We got one chance here in this lifetime. Let's make the best of it.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening to my first episode of my series, Everyday Heroes, the Om Within series. In episode 2, I will be talking to my good friend, Jeff Walker. He's a shamanic practitioner and a life coach, and we talk about many topics from self-empowerment, how to get rid of negative thoughts and overcome those, to how to communicate with your spirit guides, to even psychedelics versus shamanic journeying. I have learned from him. He's also my mentor, and he's helped me overcome a lot of things as well, and actually connect with my spiritual gifts and open my divine channel to my higher self and other spirit guides and to the angelic realm and spirit realm. So it's a really amazing interview. Check it out next week, and thanks so much for listening, guys. If you liked that episode and the topics I talked about, Please like, share, subscribe to my channel, and comment below about any other topics that you'd want me to talk about or people you'd like me to interview. I'll get that video made just for you. Let me know, and I'll see you at the next video.